So coming off at the end of the previous chapter, we saw Lady Nagant returning, and she was able to assist Izuku against All For One / Shigaraki by blowing his hand off before he was able to touch the ground and cause like a widespread explosion. And coming into this chapter, we're seeing how she got there because she was originally in the same hospital that Kurogiri, Spinner, and Present Mike were in with the Dr. Mario guy. She was in here because she's still recovering from having a literal bomb go off inside of her, but it seems like she's recovered enough to be able to go back into battle at least for a couple minutes. And as she's leaving the hospital, Rocklock's there, and he realizes that Nagant is like good, that she's had her face turn and she wants to redeem herself, but also do right by Izuku, who saved her in more ways than one. So he gives her all of the necessary information she needs, but she's able to fire off another bullet that takes off Shigaraki's other hand, which, stifles his plan of just exploding the place. But technically he could still do it with his feet, as we've seen him do before, but I guess for this sequence, Horikoshi just decided not to because it would kind of ruin the moment. But this triggers All For One and gives us like a rare moment where he breaks character, because he's always usually like calm and has like this half smile on his face and makes some lame joke or something. But after getting shot by Nagant, he's like furious. Hey, also guys, if you like my Hero content, please subscribe if you haven't already. It's fine if you don't want to, but if you just needed a reminder, here you go. Thanks. But then these fingers start coming out of his mouth and we hear Shigaraki's voice, and he's like, weren't you supposed to be the master of manipulation? I know you brought me up to be part of your grand scheme, to torment All Might through his bond with Shimura. Then you move forward with your scheme of taking control of my body and reach the point where you absorbed my hatred in order to steal One For All. And we merged together and I became a part of you. So it turns out that Shigaraki was aware of what was going on with All For One's master plan. And we just didn't really know where Shigaraki was with all of this stuff, because to be honest, this is like the first time we're really hearing him speak like this in a very long time. Like, Shigaraki hasn't really been his true self for around 2 years now, at least in real time, because it was like after he was prominence burned by Endeavor that All For One had started to do that takeover merger thing, and since then he hadn't really been himself. But now that he's back, we know that he was aware of what was going on, and he was fighting back against it, and even made his own contingency, because it also turns out that the Tenko personality shard that we've been seeing from time to time, stored away in Shigaraki's consciousness, was made by Shigaraki himself. Like, I thought maybe it was just a side effect of the situation that was going on with everything, but no, Shigaraki himself says that he hid his origin deep inside the depths of his heart so that he could take control back from All For One without him noticing. And it seems to be successfully working here, because he is taking control of his body once again by becoming the dominant personality. But first, let's talk about the sponsor of this video, Raycon. Guys, I love these Raycon everyday earbuds. They look, feel, and sound better than ever. They have these optimized gel tips that just perfectly fit in my ear, and they will not budge, which is great because earbuds I've had before just will not stay in my ear. They also have 8 hours of playtime and 32 hours of battery life. I didn't even know earbuds could last that long. They're also priced just right. You get quality audio at half the price of other premium audio brands. Guys, I'm so excited that I got these. They're so comfortable. But maybe my favorite feature is the noise isolation. I've never had earbuds that had this feature before, and it's pretty amazing, and something that is personally essential for me in an earbud or a headphone. And of course, they sound amazing because they have pure sound, which is their most refined. It has perfect clarity to hear every single note, and it's especially great for podcasts and audiobook listening, which I like to listen to when I'm doing my chores. So guys, if you want to get your very own Raycon earbuds, click the link in the description or go to buyraycon.com/Zhoniin. That way you're going to get 15% off of your Raycon purchase. Thanks, guys. And All For One is like panicking. It's like, Kurogiri, I can't properly control this. Transport me to the other me. The other me, of course, is his true body that's currently with Endeavor and Hawks. And he was previously trying to fly to Shigaraki because he said he needed to complete the takeover process or something, which implied that he needed to physically be there for it to happen, to avoid something like this from happening. But Kurogiri's like glitching out because him like going between Kurogiri and Shirakumo, he's just not functioning properly. And while this is happening, Shigaraki is like fully taking over control. He's like, I don't need One For All. fall. And he compares himself to Nagant and Gentle, saying that like his heart won't be corrupted. And going further, he says everything that exists in this world gave rise to that house of Shigaraki, and Tenko Shimura only have one wish: to destroy everything that has to do with that house. So that's huge insight into Shigaraki's goal here. Like I said, something we weren't really aware of too much. I mean, he did say what he wanted at the end of the Villain Academia, but since then it's kind of been ambiguous, at least in my opinion. But he says that he and Tenko only have one wish, and it's to destroy that house. So they are somewhat working together, or at least just not at odds with each other. So I guess we'll have to break down exactly what this means, destroying everything that has to do with that house, because the house itself is already destroyed. Like, it was destroyed when Shigaraki was first activating DK, and his whole family died as well. So the other things that have to deal with that house are, in my opinion, All For One. Now, this hasn't been confirmed yet, but I'm pretty sure All For One and Yujiko were responsible for giving Shigaraki DK. Like, in this panel, we see this guy dropping off Shigaraki to his mother, and in my opinion, this is All For One. I mean, come on, clearly him. So that might mean that destroying All For One is one of Shigaraki's plans here, and I'll get to that. But another thing that has to do with that house is Shigaraki himself, because Tenko kind of split once Decay activated. Like, he was no longer Tenko, he became Shigaraki in that moment. So maybe Shigaraki wants to destroy himself as well? Not really sure, but I do know that the end result will obviously leave us with Tenko, like in physical form somehow, like some way through crazy quirkery, Tenko will return and Shigaraki will, I don't know, either sacrifice himself or just take himself out inadvertently. I don't know, I doubt Shigaraki will go gently into that good night, but I think we all know where this is headed regardless. But after this, like in the blink of an eye, Izuku takes Shigaraki out of the UA coffin, and he says that now that he can use quirks again, I can't fight him in the cage anymore. You know, because Monoma and Aizawa got knocked over by the Twice clone, so they're no longer erasing his quirks. He can clearly just nuke the place. And as we come to the end of the chapter, they're both on the ground now, and Izuku's like, I won't ignore the you that was crying. Obviously referring to the Tenko personality shard. Tenko actually acknowledged Izuku as well as being a true hero, so there is some connection there between them, which will obviously fully come circle by the end of the series. But yeah, the final panel here is amazing. Izuku staring down Shigaraki, and this is going to lead us into, I guess, what the final battle may ultimately be. I don't think this is going to be it, but I do think they'll fight for a little bit. You know, full power Izuku versus full power Shigaraki, 120%, one for all quirks unlocked, can use them all synergistically, while Shigaraki is at 100% of his body and can use 100% of All For One as well. However, there is a ticking clock on Izuku because he's been using gear shift and transmission, so he only has like a couple minutes left here, and I don't think he's going to have enough time to defeat Shigaraki, so he might pass out, and that's going to lead us to the next stage, as it says here, where either everyone has to team up against Shigaraki or Shigaraki fights All For One while Izuku recovers possibly. That would be amazing, because, you know, destroying everything that has to do with that house means that maybe Shigaraki is going to be the one that ultimately defeats All For One and like kills him, but we'll see what happens. That's pretty much it for the video today, guys. Let me know what you thought about this one in the comments, and if you liked the video, please give it a like and please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.